Hey there, Steve Gamache for Chef Knives to Go with another quick look product review. And what we're doing this time is the Shiro Kamo SG2 Damascus Gyuto 180mm knife. So as this indicates, you've got a SG2, which is a powdered metallurgy full stainless steel that's fine grained and kind of a good balance between hardness and ease of sharpening. Not going to be super easy to sharpen, but it's not crazy bad. As long as you get some good stones, it'll be fine. Plus, you get definitely some edge retention on this. This has very good edge retention. And so the heat treat's about 63 on that core steel at the middle. The construction has a multi-layered stainless, soft stainless cladding on the outside. They've acid etched this to make the different layers pop, and they'll typically use different kinds of materials on the cladding, like nickel and some other things, to make those differences in appearance when you do the acid etching. So very interesting look. Every knife's going to be a little different. You can see the layers especially showing through when you finish getting down and you start hitting the grind towards the edge. So a very dramatic look to it. This is your core cutting edge steel here, the SG2. So it's an all stainless blade. The weight and dimensions can vary a little bit from knife to knife. This particular one is 138 grams or 4.9 ounces. Edge length is 192. This is a fairly long blade. I had to double check that a couple of times, 7.5 inches. The excuse me, the overall length is about 12.9 inches or 327 millimeters. And then these have a little bit of meat to the spine, so they're pretty stiff, but yet they're thin behind the edge. So this I got about 2.8 millimeters coming out of the handle above the back of the heel here, known as the chin right there. And then about halfway down, I got about 2 millimeters. And then not a ton of taper. If you look really carefully, actually, they don't always do this. The cladding on this does not coat the top of the spine. So take a look. If you look carefully here, you can see the core steel right sandwiched in the middle there. So this style of cladding does not cover the spine, and so you can see that construction. It's pretty cool. If this were reactive, you'd have to watch that too, because that, might expose some reactive steel in the middle. This is not, though. It's all stainless. Let's see, where was I with this? I went off track. So, spine thickness. So we have a little bit of taper, not a whole lot once you get past the halfway point of the knife until you hit the grind. So these are thin at the tip. Really nice taper towards the tip. And then they're thin at the edge as well. So performance should be quite good on these. But yet they've got enough meat on the spine for some stiffness of the blade. Blade height, they're pretty generous, 49, a little over 49 for that. You've got a pretty thin neck. And so you got lots of room there for your fingers on a pinch grip. The handles are octagonal rosewood with a black packawood ferrule. And this has a nice clean glue up job or seal job where the tang goes into the handle, so nicely done there. Balance point is going to be probably pretty close, getting towards the choil, which it is, back of the blade. A little in front of that choil. The choil is this part right here. And so pinch grip wise, it's just a little bit behind where my pinch grip would be, so it's still pretty neutral. Your pinch grip, if it's further forward, might be a little more handle heavy, but it's slightly handle heavy, but not much. So fairly neutral feel. Let's see, let's get our beauty shot. We'll go with this side. So this is the left side of the blade as you'd be using it. It's hard to show because it kind of blends in, but they've got some laser engraved kanji in here. You can kind of see that right there. It's hard to show you on camera, but it's right in there. You have to look hard just because this has such a contrasty pattern to it. It kind of disappears, but it is there. And then you can see your layers, and then you can see the core steel. Here's the right side of the blade as you'd be holding it. Fit and finish wise, they've done a little bit of relief at the spine. The edges on the right side are just a touch sharp, or kind of hard edge, I should say, not really sharp. And then on the choil, they've polished that a little bit. Not rounded a ton, but definitely doesn't seem to be an excessively hard edge to it. Fit and finish is really good aside from that. The out-of-the-box edge, I'll give it 6 out of 10. Had a nice out-of-the-box edge to it. Nice and straight, clean grinds. So, well-crafted blade. Let's look at the cutting edge profile. So you'll see this has a pretty good flat spot towards the back. It rolls into that. And then we've got a pretty aggressive belly towards the tip there. And I can get way up there. So this will rock like a champ. You know, this will rock like crazy. Got a little bit of flat towards the back. Tip draws, you're going to have to go way up high, so probably not great for that. But push-pull cuts, glide cuts with this part, and then lots of rocking capability right there. Again, for a 180 Gyuto, it's fairly tall, so that lets them do that with that height. So a very nice looking package. Should be a good performer. 180 is kind of a, well, it's a 190 really, but it's just a good kind of intermediate size for a home environment. Or this would make a monster of a prep knife in a commercial environment if you've got a little bit shorter amount of space to work with. This is the Shiro Kamo SG2 Damascus Gyuto 180mm knife.